Place the battle mat in the center. There are 6 parts to set up: Tyrant Day Counter, Encounters, Loot and Trove Loot, Baddies, Gearlocs, and other. Let's start with Tyrant and the Day Counter. Select the Tyrant that you'll fight. Undertow comes with 5 of them. The game length indicator tells you approximately how long this game would take. There are 2 numbers here. The top one tells you how many progress points you're going to need before you can take on this final boss. The bottom number shows you how much time you have to defeat the Tyrant. The unit is in days, so if we were to play the Goblin Queen, we would have 9 days to defeat her. For this setup, we're going to grab Colossum. These will all go back into the box. We'll place the Tyrant card next to the battle mat. Next, find the corresponding die and chip for the Tyrant. So that's that one, and this purple die. Depending what Tyrant you're playing, there may be more than 1 chip to pick up. If you're playing Barnacle, you actually have to pick up all of these. Take the Day Counter card, place it below, and the Day Counter chip on the card. Next, take the Tyrant Encounter cards and pick out the one corresponding to your Tyrant. The cards corresponding to Tyrant is labeled at the bottom here. We're going to need Colossum, which is this one. The rest goes back into the box. Grab the green Encounter cards, and then you want to separate them into 3 decks. Special Encounters, Encounter for solo, and Encounter for not solo. You can distinguish the cards by once again looking at the bottom. If you are playing with 1 character, you want to use the solo Encounter deck. But if not, remove it from the game. Take the general Encounter deck and shuffle. After shuffling, draw Encounter cards equal to the number of days shown on your Tyrant card minus 2 cards. The days shown on our Tyrant is 7. 7 minus 2, we're going to draw 5 cards. Mix in the Tyrant Encounter card we picked up earlier. With the Special Encounters deck, we want to make 3 piles. The first pile are cards that has the number 1 in the bottom right corner. The second pile are cards with the 2 in the bottom right corner. The third pile are cards without the numbers. We're going to randomly pick 1 card from the Day 1 pile and randomly pick 1 card from the Day 2 pile. So this one and this one. And these go on top of the Encounter deck with the Day 1 card being on top. Finally, we put the cover card so we don't see what's coming. So net for our Encounter deck against Colossum, we have 5 general Encounter cards. We have 1 card for Colossum, 1 card for Day 1, and 1 card for Day 2, for a total of 8 Encounter cards. Place the Encounter deck we've just made below the Day Encounter card. For the Special Encounter cards we haven't used, we're just going to put it in an accessible spot for now because we may need them later. Next, grab the Trove Loot in the loot decks, shuffle them, place them to the right of the battle mat. From the dice tray, pick out the 4 lock picking dice. They look like this. Place them nearby. We're now going to set up our baddies. Take a look at the bottom left corner of your Tyrant card. You're going to see a few icons. There are 3 types of icons that can show up here. Purple is beasts, orange is goblins, and the third one is scales, but it doesn't show up on Colossum's card. These are creature types that are associated with the Tyrant. So we're going to look for the purple and the orange icons. We do not want the scales icon. The icon is located in the bottom right. This is the scales. We don't need this. This is a beast, so we'll grab it. You want to do this for the 1, 5, and 20 stacks, and once you're done taking out chips, shuffle them. For the 3s, there's actually 2 different types. These ones you just want to shuffle and set them aside. We will be using them in the game. So we have our 1 stack, 5 stack, 20 stack, one of the 3 stacks, and the other. The other Baddies chips that we didn't use can go back into the dice tray for now. Place a few of these health chips nearby. Next, we're going to set up our Gearlocs. We're going to place the characters that we're going to play with. Their mats right below the battle mat. For each Gearloc, I'm going to grab its chip. We're going to take its starting health, which is here, 3 and place a corresponding number of health markers below their chips. From the dice tray, find the character's initiative die, which is the die with the character's image on it. You also want to pull up the 4 stat dice. These are just dice with numbers 1 to 6 on the sides. Take the character's reference sheet. On the front side in the right column, you want to look for skills with this symbol. It has a circle around it. This is the character's starting skill. So Duster starts with Nightshade. You want to find the Nightshade die in the dice tray and then place it in the corresponding spot. The number facing up does not matter. For Stanza, here's her chip. She starts with 5 health. We have her initiative die, 4 stat dice, and on the character reference sheet we find that she starts with this skill, the Lutar. That would be this. These are the other skill dice for the Gearlocs. These are for Stanza and these are for Duster, so we're just going to have them handy next to the playing area. Finally, the other components. We're going to need some dice handy. Defense dice, attack dice, loot dice, and effects dice. The rulebook says to have a few out on the table. I just leave them in a tray and have them next to the playing area. We're also going to need this transparent-ish D6 die in here. Above the battle mat, we're going to place the lane markers. This is lane number 3. 1, 2, and 4. We're also going to set aside these obstacle/wreckage chips. We'll also place the 4 baddie dice above the battle mat. Take the round counter die, set it to round 1, and set it to the left side of the initiative meter on the battle mat. One more thing before we can play. If you turn to page 29 of the rulebook, you'll see that there are different difficulties for the game. If this is your first time playing it and you're just learning, you might want to start out in the adventurer mode. If you've played it before, you might want to start in the heroic adventurer mode. And finally, if you want a challenge, you might want to go for the legendary adventurer mode. So we will be adjusting our characters for the adventurer difficulty. We're going to add 2 to the Gearlocs HP stat before starting day 1, and we're getting 1 training point before starting day 1. So Gearloc gets 2 extra health, and they get 1 extra training point. A training point can be used toward a training attempt of one of the character's skills or stats. Training HP, Dex, or skills will always succeed. However, training attack or defense will require a successful attempt. If you're training for your attack value, you want to grab the number of dice you have for attack, which is the starting number plus any modifier. Grab the corresponding number of attack dice and roll it. If you do not get any bones in the result, that would be a successful attempt. If you're training for defense, you would once again grab the number of dice that's shown here, 1 plus whatever modifying die. Once again, you roll, and if you don't get any bones, you will succeed. But in this case, I've actually failed. For defense, you actually get a second chance because there are 3 sides with bones on it, so the chances are 50-50. Because of that, we get a second roll. This time we successfully trained for defense. For Stanza, we'll actually just give her a skill. So let's say if you give her Stunning Beauty, it would be this one. And there you have it. We're ready to go adventuring in the world of Too Many Bones.